So much so that I forgot to unmute my microphone. My apologies, folks. Hey, I'm Ettaro, and I'm coming to you from my home studio, and gonna go ahead and continue what I started a few months ago. When I get to a point of doing some interesting polishing work on a long-form video that I have been working on, I like to share it. Here gives a little bit of insight into why we do what we do as video editors, how we do what we do as video editors. It's always an educational process working with and for different clients. And this time around, I was... well, I shouldn't say I am working for a wonderful man. He's become seems to be a friend of mine, an inspiration, really just a great guy who has a great vision for his small company, and really inspirational in regards to his the genesis of this business and how he shifted career lanes in midlife and took a big plunge and a big risk to start this small company called liveedgeexclusives. And I'm excited and I'm honored to be able to create a nice marketing video and a big catalog of awesome footage that we shot a few months back. Some challenges with this project, man, oh man, have there been. The client wanting a 3-minute-ish video, final polished piece, and man, by the time we got done shooting, I mean, we went out into nature. He makes live edge raw, beautifully polished custom furniture by hand here in his workshop in North Carolina, just outside Charlotte. And man, oh man, oh man, oh man, did we get the footage. I mean, I think I've got a total of probably easy over 2 hours of footage. Sit down interviews, client testimonials, tons of B-roll of him in his shop. Did interviews out in nature. It was an interesting project. I've learned a lot about the process. Learned a lot about my new friend Andy Peck, and the challenge that we had was trying to compress all that down into a 3-minute marketing video. Now, of course, there is an application for that marketing video, which is why he wanted it within the length that he wanted it. And it's been a couple months in working on this, but we're finally down to the point where we got the storyline solidified. We got the voiceover cut and solidified. And now I am at a point where I am going through the edit, and we're starting to tighten up the edit. We're going to do some of these slates that we're using for transitions where they are, where we are showing client testimonials. So we're going to be doing a lot with audio fades. You're going to be seeing a lot with the rubber bands there, audio swells and coming up and down to help accentuate the transitions of the video. We've got some transitional graphics that we're going to be adding, like this passion for rivers emerges. There's the interview footage. Client testimonial footage, and the goal today is to get this in the next couple hours. I'm probably only going to stream for about an hour or two, but my hope and goal is to be able to get this down today to where it's not a completely finished product. Well, if I can get it done today, I would love to before Thanksgiving. But there's still a lot of little subtle work to do here to really smooth this thing out. Then we'll go back and I'll be doing some color correction. You can see here some of these clips are not... Color grading hasn't been done quite yet. You can see there the difference between there and there. There's a lot of, for instance, some camera shake, even though we use the gimbal. Sometimes it's not perfectly smooth. Adobe Premiere is a great engine in there to help smooth out camera shake. So some of those things that you're seeing there are going to have to be rendered in the final pass. And then some audio treatments for the voiceovers. Premiere handled the voiceover pretty nicely. I'm very happy with it overall. It's a little bit harsh to my ears in the S's, so I'm gonna go in there and smooth some of that out, and try to capture the vibe of this thing, smooth it, and get it off to the client so that we can then say, yes, it's approved as is. All the cuts are approved as is. I didn't realize I had this camera on. All the cuts approved as is. All the audio is approved as is. All the graphics are approved as is. All of the B-roll is approved as is. That's the goal today. Then I'll go back through, and the final pass will be where I do the final color grading and maybe a little bit more tweaking on the audio. I'm very fastidious about that, and that's something that I take very seriously with my video productions. Audio is just as important, in some ways even more important, I think, than the visuals, because you can have beautiful visuals that are telling the story, but if your audio is just crap and it's not mixed well, and the pacing of the audio sets the pacing of the video in so many ways, in conjunction with the transitions and the movements and all that. So very, very, very important. Hence, I have my nice closed back headphones on. I'm going to go ahead and start where I left off earlier. Okay, let me, before I do this, let me jump on and see if anybody is in the comments. Hello there, friends. Say hi from where you're watching, and drop any questions or comments you may have. All right. Hope y'all are having a wonderful week. Good Lord continues to bless you, and that you are preparing to have a wonderful holiday season with your families. And let me go ahead and get to my Facebook page and drop a comment. There we go. And there we go. Okay. All right, let's rock and roll on this thing, shall we? Okay. So let us go to the main timeline, and of course, I may in the next pass, in the final pass, once I get everything all finalized and in place, I may opt to upgrade here to the, well, not upgrade, but to switch platforms to the new beta version of Adobe Premiere. Some really cool, really cool AI features, and transitions and effects and whatnot, that, I mean, dozens and dozens and dozens of really cool new stuff that's in the beta version, but it's still a little bit buggy, and I don't want to risk that. So I may or may not need it. We'll see what we can do. The client has chosen to go with some pretty standard transitions, basic fades at a 1/5 of a second transition is what he wanted.
Factory furniture produces thousands.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. I gave the client 3 different voiceover styles. Delivery, sort of a deeper voice. Welcome to Live Edge Exclusives, custom made furniture in the heart of North Carolina, right? And then I've got a little bit more of a relaxed, natural tone that I gave him to choose from. And then, which he liked, the third option was my just natural read, and what you're hearing right here. So, been doing voiceovers for many years, and if I say, it's one of my favorite parts of the video production process. So, let's go ahead and start this bad boy up, and I'm just going to move through it and kind of talk through it as I do it. Let me make sure that the audio is coming through.
Welcome to Live Edge Exclusives.
There it is.
Furniture for those who believe personal expression and legacy matter. Factory furniture produces thousands of duplicates of any single piece, and the buyer has no influence on it.
All right, so we start at the beginning now. I'm going to probably do something.
Welcome to Live Edge Exclusives.
I think I'm going to try to find that white. The client likes it. To my eyes, it does meet his branding spec sheet. To my eyes, it's a little bit harsh, and the overall white, right? So I'm going to try to do something and see if I can find some sort of texture background that would represent wood, maybe water, because that's his whole theme, is the river tables, which you'll see here. But I had one of his beautiful tables in the background, but we got a challenge here because we've got a logo that has a lot of those earth tones, and when I lay it over wood, well, especially busy wood with a lot of grain and figuring and whatnot in there, it's difficult to see. Client does not like the idea of adding a shadow to the logo, which is cool, but that limits what we can do. So we got to have a bit because the shadow or a stroke around there would help it separate it from the background. We don't want it to be too busy. We want to make sure that the logo is clearly identifiable, but the white, I think I'm going to play around in the final pass with a really subtle texture perhaps, and see that we can kind of tone that down a little bit and still cause the logo to pop off and give him what he wants. So let's go ahead and play this thing.
Welcome to Live Edge Exclusives.
Whoop, hold on, cut out on me.
Welcome to Live Edge Exclusives. Furniture for those who believe personal expression and legacy matter.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. That is the warp stabilization. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn that off for right now. I'll do that in the final pass, because that's with the stabilizing and all the color correction and all the audio treatments. I mean, it's a 3.5 minute video, but it could easily take well over an hour to render all of those effects. So I'm going to let that sit for right now and turn that off.
Welcome to Live Edge Exclusives. Furniture for those who believe personal expression and legacy matter. Factory furniture produces thousands of duplicates of any single piece, and the buyer has no influence on the material. All
right, I like that. I did this with Envato Elements, just an AI generation tool. I like this.
Thousands of duplicates of any single piece, and the buyer has no influence.
All right, let's do a little bit of emotion on this. I'm going to move this up a little bit so we see the people in the background, non-identifiable people working in a furniture factory. We're going to set the keyframes so it's a nice fade, and then to this point over here we are going to sort of pan across, right, and then bring it down in scale, because what we want to do is we want to showcase the difference between factory made, right, and ultimately getting over here to Andy. Andy, one man with a mission, working in his workshop. As it should be. God bless America. Here we
And
go.
legacy matter. Factory furniture produces thousands of duplicates of any single piece, and
I think the handcrafted different. Well, I kind of like that. I think that can stay up there for a little bit.
legacy matter.
Okay, music was a little bit jumpy. I'm going to make some very slight adjustments to the audio tracks as I'm going along, but ultimately what I like to do is come in here, really just dim the lights and put the headphones on and really zone in on the audio and do a final treatment and listen to it on different kinds of speakers as well, not just my high-end studio reference monitors, but a little Bluetooth speaker. I'll actually play it on a couple different devices to make sure it sounds good on any device.
For those who believe personal expression and legacy matter.
Okay, right there is a little low. I'm going to bring that back up.
Expression and legacy matter. Factory furniture produces thousands of...
All right, so right here, you can hear in the beat of the music.
And legacy matter.
Right there, right? Boom. You can even see the waveform right here. I want the handcrafted difference to come up right at that time.
And legacy matter.
There it is.
Factory furniture produces...
Okay, let's put a little bit of a motion tween on that. Oh, it's already there. I see it. Okay. So it's moving slightly and growing up.
Matter. Factory furniture produces thousands of duplicates of any single piece, and the buyer has no influence on the materials used or the design, and it will eventually end up tattered.
All right, that pan's a little too fast. I want it to be a lot slower pace here. Let's go ahead and put this down. We're going to remove those tweens, or keyframes, I should say. All right. Let's see if that slows that down a little bit.
Buyer has no influence on the materials used or the design, and it will eventually end up tattered.
Okay. We can make that a little bit slower. Or trim it a bit. And then we got this piece here, which again is illustrating a standard furniture factory with tons of the same product being stamped out. And that is not what my man Andy does by any stretch of the imagination. So let's move that over there. And then we're going to put a cross dissolve here. He likes it at 1/5 of a second, so it's just a very quick fade.
Or the design.
Let's do that as well. Sorry if you're hearing a lawnmower running in the background.
Buyer has no influence on the materials used or the design, and it will eventually end up tattered and broken.
Let me see if I can get a little bit better resolution on the playout.
And it will eventually end up tattered and broken. Live Edge exclusive.
Nice. All right. So we hear that swell, the volume swell, right? That is the resolve of this audio clip. But if we look underneath there, you're going to hear another swell, right? It sounds as if it's the same piece, but it's actually a different piece of music, license-free music that we get through Envoto. And you can see here, this piece is coming up, then back down. As it ramps down, I'm ramping this one up underneath it and starting that whole new segment. I liked the dip to black as well, because it separates that
used or the design
segment.
And it will eventually end up tattered and broken. Live Edge exclusives furniture.
There we go. Nice.
Tattered and broken. Live Edge Exclusives
Boom.
furniture is...
All right, we want to get rid of that AI image. I think... Yeah, because he doesn't really do chairs. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Whoop. All right, image generation. Let's get rid of that. Nice. This is one of his tabletops, and if you can see here, the image was actually shot portrait style on a phone. So unfortunately, I can't get the whole thing. He sent this to me, client provided. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the edge, right? Because live edge, and you're going to see why we call it that here in a few. And we're going to start by coming up.
Live Edge Exclusives furniture.
All right, way too fast.
Is intentionally built to endure all the seasons of...
All right, nice. I'm going to bring this. Going to move this over a touch and extend that piece. And I think we're going to need, I just believe we're going to need some more B-roll for this project before it's done, all said and done. So I'm going to do what I got. I'm going to do what I can with what I got, I should say. All right. Let's see if that looks better. A little slow push.
Live Edge Exclusives furniture is in...
All right, let's get that transition so the piece comes up just as that volume swell is at its crescendo, right?
And broken. Live Edge Exclusive.
There it is. Okay, we want to fade out. I'm going to dip the black, and then we're going to come back up.
Broken. All
right, hold on.
And broken. Live Edge.
There it is.
And broken. Live Edge.
Whoop, a little too late.
Live Edge.
All right, let's move that a little bit.
Live Edge.
There it is. There it is.
And broken. Live Edge Exclusives furniture is intentionally built to...
I like it. Ah, look at that. Intentionally. Andy being
intentionally built
intentional
to endure all the seasons of life and ultimately add to your legacy.
All right, so we got to do color correction on these pieces and whatnot. We'll do that again, and warp stabilization. We'll do that on the end. For right now, I have all that turned off. Just I don't like that anyway. Just maybe contrast and saturation to make the colors pop a little bit.
See. Live Edge Exclusives, custom furniture and home decor. Passionately.
Oh, he's out of frame there. And I'm not crazy about that shot. I believe I want to replace that shot. Hold on a second here. Okay, for right now, I'm not going to sweat that. I'm going to get through this once. I'm going to put a marker here because I'm not crazy about that shot. We got this backlight. I got another really cool shot of him doing the stripping of the bark. But actually, maybe I can go ahead and do that right now since I'm here. Reveal in project, open that up, and let's see if we can get another shot of him taking that wood off the edge. I like that. I'm going to take that. That's pretty cool. Let me see if I can replace that with this. Let's see what we got here.
Furniture and home decor, passionately handcrafted in the heart of North Carolina.
These pieces are designed and intended to last.
What is going on here?
Home decor, passionately.
All right, let me save that. All right, let's try that again. A little bit of ambient sound there of him stripping the bark from the edge, the live edge of the wood. And of course, now it's
custom
not.
furniture and home decor, passionately handcrafted in the heart of North Carolina. Custom furniture and home decor.
Premiere. Oh gosh.
Custom furniture and home decor, passionately handcrafted in the heart of North.
Come on, man. Let me lower the resolution there. See if that helps. No, it's not playing at all. Man,
Furniture
I swear.
and home decor,
I have such a
handcrafted in the heart of
relationship.
North Carolina.
These pieces are designed and intended to last.
Look at that.
Not for decades, but
And
Unbelievable.
home decor, passionately
Unbelievable. All
handcrafted.
right. I'm going to go ahead and close Premiere and open it back up. Man, that just drives me insane. Buggy. Buggy, 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 buggy. Sometimes it'll go on and play and play and play and play and play, and the doesn't respond. The transmit controls don't respond, and even though it says it's not playing and it's on stop, it doesn't want to stop. Let's go ahead and see if this will rebuild real quickly. All right, let's try this again. Jeez. Audio playback failed, of course.
Custom furniture
Look at
and
that.
home decor, passionately handcrafted in the heart of North Carolina.
these pieces are designed and intended to last.
All right, I love that. I love that. Passionately handcrafted. There he is.
Furniture and home decor, passionately handcrafted in the heart of North Carolina.
Pouring
These
the
pieces are designed and
epoxy.
intended to last not for decades, but for generations.
All right, so we got to do something to...
For decades.
We had a jump cut there, right?
Not for decades, but for generations.
All right, so I think what I'm going to do here... We decided to use these customer testimonials as transitions in the video. So here we have a nice testimonial from a client here in Mint Hill. I think what we're going to do, we got to hide this jump cut. B-roll can get a little bit tricky because, of course, we want to lay B-roll that is appropriate to what we're talking about on the timeline. But at the same time, another function of B-roll is to cover unsightly, hard jump cuts like that, right? So I think what I'm going to do for that, since we're going into the transition and he's saying these pieces, right? I'm going to go ahead and leave this on here with this title.
These pieces are designed and intended to last not for decades, but for generations.
Right there. I'm going to have one of these product images come up over top of him talking. Let's see, full screen. So now this is where it gets tricky. Quality, there we go. Is the quality of the picture good enough for high definition video? We're not editing in 4K, so I think this will do it. So what I'm going to do, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and set that point. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit here, and you guys can actually see what I am doing. I'm going to set that point. Actually, I'm going to go up here, and that's going to be the beginning. And then,
but for generations.
Right? And then that's going to fade into the title slate. So let's see, how are we going to do this? We're going to go, and I'm going to shrink this down a little bit and tilt up as if, right? And maybe we can even zoom in a little bit closer. The resolution's pretty decent. I want to zoom in a little bit closer to get that edge, right? Look at that. Nice. All right. So that should be a nice slow.
But for generations.
Whoa, way too fast. Way too fast. Way too fast. Way too fast.
But for generations.
Yeah, we don't want that. Okay, so we're going to start here. Actually, maybe we're going to go the opposite way. Let's put some nodes here. And bring that up a touch.
But for generations.
All right. Now you can hear that swell in the in the music, the cymbals, right? The cymbal splash. Take a listen.
Not for decades, but for generations.
Right there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put the fade right there at that cymbal. All right. And then we're going to see the white slate come up underneath there. Okay.
But for generations.
All right. Now, we got to go. I want this fade up. Be a little bit slower. Let's see how that looks.
For decades, but for generations.
Nice. Okay, so let's see, how can we make this look good? We want to put another picture of the client right there, of the piece that he has or that he created for the client. Now, I think I used that elsewhere. So I'm going to see. I know I did. I know I used that picture elsewhere. All right. So we got this text. I need to make sure that it is in the same, using the same font. He wants to make sure that we have the same font used throughout, which is Young Serif. Okay. That's Young Serif.
Decades, but for generations.
All right, now let's go ahead. Actually, I'm going to do a fade between that piece and this piece. here. Let's see if that works. And then we will also fade up from him. Actually, we don't need to do that because the JPEG image there is covering Andy. So
Operations.
all right, so we're gonna have that symbol splash kind of swell up a little bit, and then we're going to pull down. Now I'm not going to do this today, but yeah, every clip I'm going to go back through then and ramp it down or ramp it up so we don't get any sort of ambient noise or cutoff. Sometimes you'll hear a tick or a click.
That's not for decades, but for generations.
Nice. All right, so let's get this in here.
For generations.
Boom. All right, so graphic, we want this on the white, so let's make that. Again, I may go back in and see how he feels about adding a texture to that. I think we should. So let me do this. And I'm going to, just because it's a landscape, or it's not a landscape, it's a portrait picture, I'm going to add, I'm going to crop that a little bit here just to focus more on the table. So let's crop that from the right. And then, all right, that's a good starting point. And I want it to slowly push up. I guess about right there. Nice and slow.
Generations.
All right, there's the client testimonial. All right, and let's do the same thing. The images were the same resolution. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste the motion tween that I did. And let's see if that works. I might need to make some slight adjustments. Nope, don't like it. Okay, so let's get rid of that. We're going to get rid of all those keyframes. And we're just going to have that be pretty much a static image here. Let's see how that looks with a crossfade. Okay, now, what can we do with the text? We want to make sure that that is the young Sarif. All right, young Serif, however you want to pronounce it. All right, so let's format these text. We want it to be legible, but it's going to go kind of quick. Linda C. Mint Hill. I'm going to just do this. Put the location underneath. And we're going to do a bland, not crazy about the block paragraph, because then I got to worry about kerning and all that stuff. Actually, that looks pretty decent. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll grow that up very slowly. Let's do a, I'm going to see about, Oh, look at this. Okay, this was added to. These are some of the film impacts. Even though I'm not in the beta version, it looks like they added these to TV power impacts. It looks like they added these to the latest version of Premiere. Block motion, we don't want that. Impact, lights and blurs. Chroma leak. Let's see. Lens blur. Let's see what that looks like to bring the text on. Okay. Just looks like a fade. It doesn't really do anything special. So let me go ahead and move the text down. I think that looks nice. All right. So let's set that as the starting point. And we're going to get just a slight, very slight push toward the camera, right? So just very slight grow effect. Let me change out this camera here too. Let me just a sec. Okay. Nice. Okay, we can move that over a little bit. Move the cat over a touch. We can see we want that line to be consistent, so let's move the cat over a little bit. It's not cropped, so I can grow that up a touch. There we go. Nice. And let's kind of move that slightly, very slightly. We'll have it pushed down a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right, and actually we were going to shrink that a little bit rather than growing it, because the text is growing, right? So let's just move that way. All right, didn't care for how the text ended up. Let's see. So let's push this slightly up, a little bit more in size and a little bit more to the left as that picture is coming down. Nice. And we're going to slow that down.
And they call them...
All right. All right. So our first testimonial, I'm going to bring the music up a bit. And then we're going to come down a little bit as Andy starts talking again. And then he gets into the kind of the products that he makes.
Intended to last not for decades, but for generations. And they call them river tables.
All right. I love it.
And they call them river tables.
Hear that? You can hear that again, the cymbals.
And they call them river tables.
Right there. I'm going to swell that up a touch. And we're going to see what I can put there.
And they call them river tables because...
Love it. All right.
And they call them river tables.
Right there. The creative inspiration is going to come up right as those cymbals go. Shh. The swish.
And they call them river...
All right. So we need a transition here. Because that's a hard cut. We don't want a hard cut. Or let's go to our video transitions again. Just a standard soft fade, crossfade we call it. Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right. We don't want to see the video underneath. So let's see here. And we're going to do something. Yeah, we don't want a bunch of moving, all sorts of weird transitions, but a chroma leak might be nice on the text. Let me see what that looks like coming out of that segment. Shouldn't make a big difference. Should just really come across as a fade because of it's just black on white. Oh, there. Okay, cool. I like that. All right, let's do this.
And they call them river tables because...
Nice. All right.
And they call them river tables.
Little too loud.
And they call them river tables because they look like the channel of a river going between pieces of wood. What I like to...
Nice. That was awesome. Did you hear that? All right. That was just, I guess, what we call a happy mistake. I had just had this remnant sitting underneath here from a previous version of the edit with the end of that transition of that music, I should say, and it just happened to work.
They look like the channel of a river going between pieces of wood. What I like to try and do is...
That's nice.
Between pieces of wood. What I like to try and do is actually make it look... wood. What I like to try and do is actually...
Yeah, we're getting some weird artifacting on this, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna... I have some AI tools that can take care of that kind of stuff, but you can see here, right? See up here, the light. I don't think it was an overhead light. I think it may have been ambient light from a window across the room, and it's causing this little bit of pixelization here. Let me see if that goes away when I turn off the brightness and the contrast. Denoise. So that's the original. Nah, nuts. I'm not crazy about that at all. All right, let me see. I'm not gonna, nah, it's not the warp stabilization either. Yeah, it's definitely just in the video. That was shot at 8K. But I don't like how that's handling it. Let me see if I can find this original piece and find a segment of it that isn't so pixelized. There, you can see it right there. You can see it right there. Yeah, the light reflecting off the table is what it is. I don't like that. Nah, I don't care for that. Let me see if I can get a different piece that really captures the river. The river effect. Okay, that's used elsewhere. That looks all right. Let me see. Let's see if I do this.
What I like to try and do is actually make it look.
Let me shrink that down a touch. Yeah, that's rather.
What I like to try and do is actually make it look like a real river. I try to make it look like.
All right, so this is original footage that I shot as well. Everything here was shot by me and on 3 different cameras. And then Andy provided some stills and a few cell phone videos as well. And then, of course, you saw the AI thing that we did, that I utilized at the beginning.
It looked like a real river. I try to make it look.
I think I'm going to find a better shot of that. I don't care for that. I'm going to add a marker there, a red marker that's telling me you have to go back and get some other B-roll. I'm not crazy about that.
Make it look like a real river. I try to make it look like it's moving, that it's alive.
I like this. All right.
Of a river going between pieces of wood.
All right. I think the text needs to grow up a little more. You can see here the motion between it stopped. In fact, we're going the wrong way. I want it to get bigger. There's a little brightness here. Let's bring the brightness down a little bit. Oh yeah, add a little more contrast. Oh, that's beautiful. Love it. Okay, so now let's see what that looks like.
And they call them river tables because they look like the channel of a river going between pieces of wood. What I like to try and do is actually make it look like a real river. I try to make it look like it's moving.
All right, let's take a look at his audio here. I am hearing, let's see if I remember this shot. Where were we? Yeah, we were at the river and there was an overpass right there and there was a lot of noise from traffic. So I'm going to have to go through. I can hear it in there that the noise isn't all gone. I can fix that, but I'm not going to worry about that right now.
Look like a real river. I try to make it look like it's moving, that it's alive, whether it's focusing on the patterns of the epoxy or the grain patterns and the figuring and all that stuff that's associated with the slabs themselves. So it gives you a 3-dimensional feeling.
Early on, freshman in high school, I knew exactly that I wanted.
Okay, now I got the interview footage here. This is coming together nicely. Let me go ahead and
3-dimensional feeling.
Early on, freshman in high school, I knew.
Let's see about this.
Early on. Early on, freshman in high school, I knew exactly.
I think I'm going to pull that up just a little bit, just because little things like that frame of that look on his face right there, which is natural when people are talking, right there, right? It just struck me as like he looks.
I knew exactly that I wanted.
Yeah, I'm not crazy the way that pops up on that particular frame right there, right? So I'm going to extend the B-roll a little bit to cover that. Okay.
Early on, freshman in high school.
Get there.
Early on, freshman in high school, I knew exactly that I wanted to be an environmental scientist. That's where my passion was. That's what interested me in school, etc. And I pursued that all the way through a PhD, and then a 15+ year career after that.
Artisan Andy Peck doesn't just build furniture, he crafts legacy.
Memories are encased in the objects that we hold on to.
That works. All right, let's see here. So now we're getting into the voiceover again. So let's see here.
And then a 15+ year career after that.
Artisan Andy Peck doesn't just build furniture, he crafts.
Okay, I think I'm going to have the title come
Peck
up.
Doesn't just build furniture.
Right there. You can hear again. I love that cymbal swish because that helps to visually separate those transitions.
Andy Peck doesn't just build furniture. He crafts.
Right there. Design philosophy.
Furniture. He crafts legacy.
Let's see here. Okay.
Build furniture. He crafts legacy.
Memories are encased in the objects that we hold on to and we keep in our home and we carry them. Memories are encased in the objects that we hold on to and we keep in our home and we carry them with us from home to home, place to place. They're meaningful.
Ooh, that's beautiful. All right, so I think we got to do something with this. I know what he's doing here. I know what that piece is, but it strikes me as a little out of place. Like, why am I looking at fly ties? In the longer version of the video, before we got it cut down to 3.5 minutes, we actually did go through and had a section where he was talking about early on in his woodworking career that he got started making fly tying tables, which you can see here. But I think I like where he's saying memories are encased.
And the objects that we hold on to and we keep in our home and we carry them with
Right.
us from home to home, place to place. They're meaningful, they have connection, and they tie us to...
But I think, I don't know. I'm going to mark this and talk with him about that because I think we need to come up with a different clip there. If he has other product picks, I'll go through his catalog that he sent me and see if I can find that.
They're meaningful, they have connection, and they tie us to something greater than us. That is what I strive to be a part of. I want my pieces to be intertwined in the fabric of your family, and so it's just a compounding element of consistency and remembrance and sometimes comfort that I find incredibly rewarding, and what I really try to think about as I'm
Okay.
really try to...
I think this is that. Is this the same one that's at the beginning? It is. I think we're going to have to replace that. I used this earlier in the video. So I'm going to replace that.
I find incredibly rewarding, and what I really try to think about as I'm designing and building a piece.
What? How is that audio out of sync? That should not have been out of sync. Oh, there it is. Okay, it must have just been something in the memory.
I really try to think about as I'm designing and building a piece.
All right, so let's go ahead and do the same effect with this. We're going to bring up the background music. And we're going to do the same thing we did with this, where we're going to bring this in full screen. And cross dissolve. And then another client testimonial. We're going to set that for about 6 seconds.
Building a piece.
Nice. All right, so let's get this full screen. That's pretty. Look at that. All right, we don't want to blow that up too much more because we're going to start seeing some pixelization there, which I do not want. Nice. Okay. Now, you heard that. Listen to that. Listen real close. You can hear, again, I got to go through and do the noise treatments on the on these clips. You can actually hear the shh of the crickets and the cicadas in the background. Listen.
And what I really try to think about as I'm designing and building a piece.
And then you can hear right here where this is, you can see the waveform, you can see the noise in there. I'm going to actually ramp that down so you don't hear it cutting off. And then I'll go back through in the final treatment and do the noise reduction and EQing and whatnot.
And what I really try to think about as I'm designing and building a piece.
All right. Let's see what other pictures we got. Oh, that's nice. That looks to be about the same. I'm thinking we're just going to go with 2 pictures on this one. And maybe what we can do is we'll shrink this down and get it in place here. And let's do the text. And young serif. Serif. And it should not be white. Why did it turn white? The fill says it's black. Where did it go? Yeah, man. Premiere, honest to God. Buggy. All I did was went to edit the text. And it deleted it, but it didn't delete it. I don't know. All right. Mary M. And I'll go back through and, consistency is so important. I'll go through and go back and actually get the exact size of that sub headline there, or the location, not headline. And her name. So it's consistent with the previous piece. And let's do oof. Let's see. Oh, okay. That looked like it handled the. Looked like that handled that. Okay, let's shrink that down. Not. Okay. We're going to shrink that down a touch. Add our keyframes. And then we're going to a very, very, very slight push. And then we're going to grow the, let's make that background. That's nice. All right. Didn't care for how the piece moved down. Didn't really like that. Let me see. Didn't care for that. Let me see about this background. See what we can do to smooth that out and slow things down a little bit. I'm wondering, see if we can slow that down a little bit. have to figure this out. I'm not crazy about these segments, how they look on the white. They're easy to read, but yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with this a little bit. I'm gonna get this off to him with this in here just for placement. And then I just feel like I need to do something, like maybe we'll put those in an oval in a vignette or something. I'm not sure yet. Mm-hmm.
Live Edge Exclusives tailored build process and
I got to figure something out here. I've got this piece up full screen, but I don't like how it's shrinking down as the text is coming up. But we need to leave the text on the screen long enough to read. So there's going to be a bit of a trick here. I don't want to put the text over top of the table unless I use the white to cover up Andy there. Let me do that instead of the table, and we will just, let's get rid of these keyframes, and we're just going to have it start right there. And let's see if we can do the white fade up rather than the full screen table. There it is. That'll work. That'll work.
As I'm designing and building a piece.
And I like that. So let's move. We're going to move this slightly in. And we're going to move the text so the text comes up first.
Building a piece.
All right. Text is growing a little too much. We're going to slow that down, have it grow slowly over the segment.
Live Edge Exclusives tailored build.
All right, I like it.
Tailored.
Now, we're getting back into the voiceover, so we got to bring the music down a touch. And really subtle. I want that really subtle. So just a slight push.
Live Edge Exclusives tailored build.
Don't like it. Don't like it. I'm going to leave that. We'll leave that static.
Live Edge Exclusives tailored build process. Invite.
Nice. Okay.
Live Exclusives tailored build.
All right, now we got some challenges here too. He did send me some new content.
Edge Exclusives tailored build process invites client.
All right, the client experience, we want that to come up. And let's see, a nice slow grow. I want that just to grow up ever so slightly. Too much. There we go. And nice and slow, so we'll spread out those keyframes, and we'll put a crossfade on there. I think I actually used the chroma leak, but it really didn't do much for me, so I'm gonna stay away from those other transitions. Andy likes it clean and traditional.
Build process invites clients to actively participate in the creation of their own custom pieces.
All right, I know that we used that clip elsewhere, so I'm going to drop it here at the end. I believe, at least I believe, we used it elsewhere.
LiveEdge Exclusives tailored build process invites clients to actively participate.
So where he says, or where I say, tailored build process, right there. That's where I want the graphic to come up.
LiveEdge Exclusives tailored build process.
Nice. All right, got it. Now, he sent me... I don't know how to do this. Got it on my phone. Ooh, yay. All right, hold on here. Send it to me on text. All right, let me... Okay, yeah, he sent me videos and pictures to use on text, and I'm going to have to transfer them to Google Drive. I'm going to do that offline. So I got a couple videos and still pictures of him with clients in the studio.
Invites clients to actively participate in the creation of their own custom pieces.
You're creating and customizing something.
There we go. Client. And what is her name? Let me remember. I got it in previous versions. Let me go back and get his title here. There he is, Andy Peck. So we're consistent, and we're going to just copy that and use the same parameters for his client, but I don't remember what her name is. Oh, wrong. Nope, that's not Andy Peck.
Pieces.
You're creating and customizing something that is going to be an something that's going to be an heirloom product.
Pieces.
You're creating and customizing.
Okay, so there's going to be a challenge here. So I've got this black space here. It's going to be B-roll and pictures that he texted me that I'm going to have to download from the iCloud and bring up into the project. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but we got to figure out what's going to go over top of this.
You're creating and customizing something that is going to be an heirloom product for your family.
This is maple, this is ambrosia.
This is something that you're going to pass down to your children. This is something that they're going to want to give to their grandchildren. We gave a table to our son when he bought his house. He actually said, I'm going to have this the rest of my life.
I actually...
All right, I like that. I love this. But, and again, the color treatments haven't been done yet. But right now, we need to get B-roll of this. I'm going to put a marker here. And we're actually coming up toward the end. That's good. And I'm going to put a marker here to mark the beginning of the segment. Now, we got to get pictures. I want to see, like, pictures of that table would be great. Or other tables. Because I love what they're saying. I love the testimonial. but all I have of them is them picking out wood here, and it's the same shot or same scene, but a different shot from different angles and whatnot. So we don't want to use this same shot over and over and over. I need something here, right here, to cover up.
You're creating and customizing something that is going to be an heirloom product for your family.
This is maple. This is ambrosia.
All right, so we do have a cut there, so I can go from here, leave her there. I got to cover this. I'm going to need to cover this jump cut.
Something.
All right. Let's put a transition in there.
Creating and customizing something that is going to be an.
And I got a marker here. I'm going to gotta go back and find her name. Okay.
Creating and customizing something that is going to be an heirloom product for your family.
This is maple. This is ambrosia.
This is something that you're going to pass down to your children. This is something that they're going to want to give to their grandchildren. We gave a table to our son.
I love that. I'm going to put this here and mark this where we want to see those tables, I think.
Something that they're going to want to.
Ambrosia.
This is something that you're going to pass down to your children.
We can get a little bit more of him talking underneath there. I love that too.
This is maple. This is ambrosia.
This is something that you're going to pass down to your children. This is something that they're going to want to give to their grandchildren. We gave a table to our son when he bought his.
So I want this here.
They're going to want it to their grandchildren.
Nice. And then here we'll add the B-roll of that table or a similar
Give a table
product.
to our son when he bought his
And the
house.
Built for
He
Legacy will
actually
go over the
said,
top of it.
I'm going to have this the rest of my life.
All right, so cool. So I've got this segment right here, basically Built for Legacy, which is, what, 5 seconds, right? So we'll get a bit of a 5-second B-roll underneath there.
He actually said,
cover up the
I'm going to have this
faces.
the rest of my life.
I actually encourage clients to come in and under my supervision.
Okay. Again, nice. But it's the same shot. Or the same scene, which I think at some point we're going to need to dive into finding some more videos or pictures of him with clients. We don't want to keep using the same thing over and over.
I encourage clients to come in and under my supervision and guidance, pour their own epoxy, get the slabs ready.
Yeah, see. Yeah, we need more B-roll. We need more B-roll of him with clients, for sure. All right. So it looks like we got about 5 spots so far that we need some more B-roll.
Supervision and guidance, pour their own epoxy, get the slabs ready, etc. It makes a tighter bond.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. Did you hear that? That tick, 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 right? That's the audio cutting off. So we're going to ramp that down and then ramp this back up so you don't hear that
Slabs
tick.
ready, etc. It makes a.
All right, let's pull that down. Etc. Etc. There's a little bit of trivia for you. Who said that? It was Yul Brynner, of course. The King and the King and I. All right.
Etc. It makes a tighter bond and a stronger relationship with.
All right, that's nice. I like it. Now we used again. No, that's actually a different table. Beautiful. We used a a similar table earlier in the video.
Bond and a stronger relationship with the piece, it becomes more of their piece rather than
Oh, I love it where he says their piece.
their piece.
Right there. Let's put that fade. Mm-hmm. Okay. And oh, that's right. Nuts. I wanted that music to resolve right here.
The piece that Andy made for us.
The clients today continue.
Actually, you know what? I got to do something with this. I don't want to move, because look at all those audio envelopes as I was mixing this. I don't want to move all that. So what I'm going to do, because I have to reset all those ramps, and I don't want to do that. So let me...
That Andy made for us.
The clients today continue to live in.
Okay, building your legacy. We're going to put that there as a transitional graphic. Now we're going to need a lot of B-roll here, because it's important stuff that he's saying, but it's a long segment, and we're going to need a lot of B-roll to cover up him standing at the river and talking. Plus, of course, it's all about the products, right? So we want to show the products. So let's add that transition. Let's add that transition. Oh, wow, look at that. Cool. All right. Oh, let's see what we got here.
The clients today.
There it is.
Andy made for us.
The clients.
There it is. Okay, so now B-roll. I got to mark this because we're going to need a lot more B-roll, which I just... Unless I can take it from pictures. I think he sent me a catalog of stuff on Google Drive. I got to go through and see. So there'll be a nice fade out there. What I'm going to do with this, see this, the where it ramps up here. I want that to be here at the end of him talking. So what I'm going to do, where this segment is low in volume, I'm going to cut that. And then I go back through and just do a little bit of microsurgery there and look at the beats of the music, and I'll rejoin those, even though it's not the natural part of the song, as long as the beats and the music are, especially where there's a nice mellow portion there, the beats of the music are consistent. You're never going to notice that was chopped. So we want this like this.
Their piece rather than the piece that Andy made for us.
The clients today continue.
There it is. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So now we've got this, right? Now there's this break here.
We gave a table to our son when he bought his house. He actually said, I'm going to have this the rest of my life.
I actually encourage.
All right, let's see what we can do to bring these two pieces together. And we'll just adjust the in and the out points there, just to make sure the beats are matching. Okay, let's give a good listen.
I actually encourage.
Yeah, wow. Got it on the first run. I don't know that I really noticed that.
He said, I'm going to have this the rest of my life.
I actually encourage clients to come in and under my supervision and guidance. Or
nice. And I can hide it more even by just bringing down the volume a little bit at that part. Right? So there we go. So we're going to bring that down. And you can even see it in the waveform right there. If I go into one frame. All right. Looks good. Okay, let's see how smooth this is.
Something that they're going to want to give to their grandchildren. We gave a table to our son when he bought his house. He actually said, I'm going to have this the rest of my life.
I actually encourage clients to come in and under my supervision and guidance, pour their own epoxy, get the slabs ready, etc. It makes a tighter bond and a stronger relationship with the piece. It becomes more of their piece rather than the piece that Andy made for us.
The clients today continue to live in the lives of their family and their family members long after.
Okay, so we got a lot, this long river talk here. Well, it's not long, it's several seconds. Wait a minute. No, we added content. That's right. I need some more music for this portion.
And the stories and the memories will all be wrapped up in those pieces, those kinds of objects that tie us to moments, that tie us to people, whether they're with us or not, tie us to places. That's important. That's legacy.
If you are looking for a functional art piece that captures your unique style and vision, captivate.
All right. So this was the music that I had chosen for the out, which he really liked. So I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to see if there's any. Oh, good. It was a longer piece. So I can actually extend this and use this. Good. I don't need to find another piece. I can use this underneath Andy talking about legacy. I love it. All right. Let's see what we got here. So there's the voiceover.
The clients today continue to live in the lives of their family and their family members long after they're gone. And the stories and the memories will all be wrapped up in those pieces, those kinds of objects that tie.
Nice. Okay, I'm not sure if he's going to want to keep this in. I love that shot of the table. That's so cool. Man, he does beautiful work. liveedgeexclusives.com. Support my clients. You know, if you dig what we're doing here and work that I'm doing in the community with nonprofits and music ministry and all that kind of stuff, you know, there's a way to support me, right? This is how I make my living. And when a client believes in me and they hire EttaroMedia to do their work, well, you know what? Go and support them. We would appreciate that. And that is, by extension, supporting me. All right, let's go ahead and grow that up a touch. All right. I love it. I love it. So bottom line is, I think we're really close now to the final pass. I need B-roll. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap the stream up for right now because I've been on a lot longer than I had planned. And I got to go take care of the puppies and get a cup of coffee, take a little break. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to polish up what I did here with Standy. And then I'm going to go back through and add some B-roll. I know I have some other B-roll that he provided. I'm going to go ahead and add that and then get him the next proof. And then the final edit, which it's looking like it's 4 o'clock now. I'm off tomorrow and Thursday, probably Friday. Friday I can do the final polish with all of the color treatment and the audio treatment and the final audio mix. So let's see what we got here. This thing drives me crazy. Oh, that's got that warp stabilizer effect. Let me turn that off. It uses a lot of memory.
Those kinds of objects that tie us to moments, that tie us to people, whether they're with us or not, tie us to places. That's important. That's legacy.
If you are looking for a functional art piece that captures your unique style and vision, captivates your family and guests, and withstands all the
All right, more B-roll, more B-roll, more B-roll. I need more product pics right here. So, okay, man, we made some progress on this. Wow, okay.
For a functional art piece that captures your unique style and vision, captivates your family and guests, and withstands all the seasons of life, book an in-home design consultation or studio visit with Andy at Live Edge Exclusives.
Nice. There, we got it. And look at that. 341. I think I can get that down. He said he can live with 330, which is pretty cool. And I do feel confident I'm going to be able to get that down to 330. Well, hey, if you tuned in, if you watched, I want to thank you for doing that. As I shared with you, I would appreciate any level of support that you can offer, whether it's just a, hey, great job, appreciate it, or it's a supporting my clients, watching my content, sharing my content. We would greatly appreciate that. You can follow me on all social media channels, EttaroMedia, and EttaroMedia. I got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and what else is on there? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I don't know if I have a Rumble account. Haven't really been utilizing social media as I should. Why? Because I hate it. So, it just, my goodness gracious. Not real crazy about what I need to do to really leverage social media the way that I probably should be as a media guy, but this is my jam. This is my lane, which is video production, and I absolutely love it. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and tune out. My name's Sam Ettaro. Thank you so much. And if you are so inclined, you're interested in a home studio build, if you are with a business and you have you would like to have a podcast built on site, if you are a faith leader here in the Charlotte region and you want some consultation and a design build for some, I would consider myself, I'm not doing really like the mega churches and stuff like that, but the smaller churches and smaller scale venues, certainly am capable of handling that and have experience in that and can provide you with quality gear, install, studio design, podcast design, and training for you and your team. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down and wrap this up, get this to my client over at Live Edge Exclusives, and start searching through the B-roll for where all those red marks are on the timeline, right? Got to fill that out. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hey, listen, God bless you. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm Ettaro. And guess what? I am out.